discussion session. It's an interactive session. I'll tell about my experience about note making, and then we'll take up some questions as to particular issues that you have been facing in your note making like strategy. For all those who know me, very welcome. All those who are new, let me introduce myself. I am Capril Arora. I've got 397 AIR in 2022 UPSC, and I have cracked UPSC 3 times with 3 interviews. So, and my forte is mains. Like my main strategy is Pakka. I have secured GS marks over 400 for all the, except the first attempt, all the 3 attempts where I have cracked it. So with that, I want to discuss and I want to share with you the strategy that I have used for note making. I know that note making is a very tedious task. It takes a lot of time, and there's a high chance that we give up in between in the first 2 days of starting the note making. It starts to take time, and then we feel that it's a futile exercise. It will take so much time. When will I study the other subjects, like that? And then we give up. There's a lot of guidance available, I know, in the market, that topic wise 1 pager notes, this and that. I know that yes, all of them are useful, but the need is that you should know how to use it. If anybody of you have tried making 1 pager note for any one topic of the syllabus, you will come to know that it is a very tedious task to Google and find facts and find arguments and go through all the topics. That it will take 1 day for at least, like, the minimum is maximum you can do 2 topics in a day if you start to Google it and everything. So I'll take you through all the through the subject wise strategy. Every subject has different books. Every subject has different strategy for note making. History has different, GS, polity, economy has different. So we will go through that strategy one by one, so that it's a practical strategy which you can implement it immediately, right? Okay. Any questions on like, can you tell me what your expectations are from the session? That after the session, what will you be able to do immediately? Like, what would you want to do after the session, that it becomes clear to you that what do you want to do in your note making? Like, do you want it to be concise? Do you want to retain it better? What is it? By the time I'll share my screen and all, you can put it in the chat box. Okay. Retain it better. Digital note making. Okay. Facts mentioning an answer where I'm lacking. Concise and easy to revise. Ability to retain. Organize the notes as the requirements of static and dynamic. Try to concise them. Micro notes. Consolidate notes in 2 to 3 pages. How to make mains notes. Okay. So my strategy for note making is a little different from that is told by the toppers, that you should make 1 pager note of the syllabus of the topic, and then you should remember it. It should be concise also. It should be structured also. All that is fine, but it is difficult to make. I could not find time for that. So what I would do is, for any one source. So everybody please listen to me. This is the most important part. Others will be illustration around it. what I would do is I would take a book that I trust that it has all the topics of the syllabus. That I would trust that it has all the topics of syllabus. For example, I trust Mains 365 that it is a holistic coverage of the current affairs that is going on. So what I would do, I would use it in its index. Would use its the topic explanation that has been given, and with the experience that I have gained, with the daily practice that I'm doing, with the daily brainstorming that I'm doing for my answer writing, I would pick up the content around that topic with the structure that has been given to it. What is the recent, how mains will mains 360, this is an example, mains 365, how it will give the recent happenings that has happened around it, the issues around it, the static part, the factual part, they are starting to give it in a box format in the right side, or some diagram is there, some historical background is there. I would see it and then make my notes according to that only by recollection. I would note down the headings, and on those headings I would recollect what I know or what I can add from those. So my structure becomes very easy. I don't have to fight for the content that, digging out the content is not required. Seeing the topic, writing the topic in the middle of the page, writing all the headings that have been given, any other heading that I feel that can be added, then whatever I know about the topic around it. When I write, then brainstorming has happened already. For example, we are talking about urbanization. I will write urbanization in the middle. Then I will tell about some, for example, if it has written some facts, some issues, current issues, some recent happenings, then some committees, right? All those things. Then I would brainstorm and I would put what all points I know, what are the issue, what are the actions taken by the government, in one word, not much. See, brainstorming has to happen in the exam itself directly. And the question that has been asked, you have to do brainstorming around it. Your answer has to have the sprinkles of the content, the factual content, the good, like the material content, value add content over it. Analysis is the basic thing, and you have to do it before, like in the final exam only, according to the demand of the question. So what do you need to do? That you need to know a fact about urbanization, you need to have a map around urbanization, you need to know a couple of committees, and like the basic understanding what is the issue of urbanization, and along with that some examples. The basic issues analysis and the examples, they will be brainstormed. Examples also you can collect to a certain extent, but ultimately you have to understand the issues and you have to collect the example from either current affairs or your own understanding about the issues of urbanization, right? Facts you can collect from somewhere. For example, in Mains 365, then after you have done this exercise of brainstorming, then you go back to Mains 365, read that content and see what all you can add in your notes. Those notes will not be full lines. When you are adding a dimension, that will not be a full line of, you cannot learn, you cannot remember one full line, one full dimension, one full explanation. You can only remember phrases, right? Write down those phrases which you want to consciously use in your final answer. Skip out on like the full explanation that the transportation system is very broken because it will take a lot of time and the productivity of humans will be lost. No. Traffic congestion, only one point. Every explanation has to be given that you want to give in the exam to address the demand of the question, has to be done in the final exam itself. Okay. Am I clear till here? Is this making sense? Okay. How many dimensions in a single topic? It depends upon you. How many dimensions you can feel that they are there. On what all dimensions can a question be asked? And that will happen only if you are habitual of writing answers. If you have not written answer on, for example, urbanization, but that you have written an answer on climate change. So you will know that, so say for example, waste management. So you will know what all dimensions were needed in the waste management. In the similar manner, if a question is asked on urbanization, what all dimensions will be required on it? You, when you like write answers, when you brainstorm, or even if you read the questions, what questions do is they push you to think. Brainstorming on a topic is very difficult, but a very specific question is posed in front of you, that uh, like for example, that what does secularism mean for India? So it poses very specific question. Your brain starts to work to answer towards it. If I give you a topic of secularism, it will, like, you will be lost to understand what all dimensions you have to create, or what brainstorming you have to do around secularism. Either you can do a secularism ka, you will be able to make out a definition, but where you have to think about in that uh, in that topic, question poses a very good direction. It gives you a push to think. So if you have done one question in a related, almost similar, or even any topic, you will get some idea about what are the questions that can be asked to a topic near to it. That's why seeing questions regularly, reading them, solving them, brainstorming them is very important for your note making exercise also. It will never be that you have prepared your notes first and then you will be doing your note making, doing your answer writing. No, they go parallel, hand in hand. You are doing your answer writing also, and you are doing your note making also. The retention increases because you are using this content here, and your ability to understand what content is required comes in notes. Okay, so the idea of making the perfect notes before you start answer writing is a myth. It will never happen. You will never have a perfect notes. Are not supposed to be perfect only. They are supposed to be very personal. My notes can't be read as well by you as I have read them, because they are made by myself. No, I have made them with a lot of understanding, with a lot of brainstorming behind it, and that brainstorming that I've done behind it, like, goes a long way, right? Okay, let me give you an example. So uh, first thing is that trust a book, pick up a book. Okay, there's also another question, that do you want to do note making for prelims, or do you want to do note making for mains, or do you want to do for both of them? Right, is this a question? Is it a major question? Right, so what my suggestion is, see, my suggestions are straightforward. They're from experience. I am not sponsored by anybody, or like I'm not connected to anybody, तो मुझे गोल गोल बात करने की जरूरत नहीं है. I can tell you clearly, straightforward, that this works and this doesn't work. So for prelims, if you are starting prelims preparation, at least till you have read it 2 to 3 times, the same book you have read for 2 to 3 times, don't attempt to make notes for prelims. You are very naive when you are starting out for the basic books, and the basic books are so full of content that you can't read them, like retain them in first go. You can't understand the significance of something in the first go itself. For example, a question came, what do you mean by cabinet form of government? And where it was given was the first paragraph of the salient features of Indian economy. Sorry, Indian polity. Salient features of Indian polity. It was given the first paragraph that we would generally skip. Or even if I had gone through it, that Indian government is also known as Westminster form of government, comma parliamentary government, comma cabinet form of government, we would not realize what that actually meant. So jab tak at least you have gone through it 2-3 times and you have solved some questions, till then I would not recommend you to make prelims notes. To the extent that I am not, I don't think that making prelims notes is very useful, but making mains notes is the most essential thing that you would need to do in your preparation. You can skip prelims notes making, because why? First, because it is based on recollection. it is recognition. Prelims is based on recognition. You just have to identify what is written, and you have to identify it in your final exam. The mains is based on recollection, कि आपको कितना आता है. You have to know the spelling of the thing. If it is a scientific name of a tree, you have to know the spelling of the thing. For example, Julius Porus that came, right? What is Julius Porus? In prelims, you didn't need to know what actually that is. But if in final exam you want to tell that there is some invasive species named Lanta camara, so you need to know the spelling of that thing. Lanta camara, is there a space in between? What is that word actually? So recollection is required in mains, only recognition is required in prelims. So I would recommend, if you are preparing for pre, don't take the pressure of making notes. Just go through your books. If you want, do the scribbling in the side of the book, or take yellow sticky notes and put it in your book itself. Add the content there. Add a sheet of paper there, instead of taking that content out of the book, because once we have read something, when we are going through it, a lot of other things from the side also get stuck to us. The point that recognition of that thing, in which page it is there, that helps, that is very good from your books. Reading the same book over and over again in special time, like what I say is, for better retention is, you have to space your revisions in some time. For example, once you're reading it today, the next day you read it again, and after that chapter is completed, or the book is small, the book is completed, you read it once again. That will help you to retain it much better, and you will not need notes for that. Just try it and see if it helps. Okay, so let me show you the सबसे first is ancient and medieval history. Let me show you how to make notes about it.
Hello.
Wait, Shruti, wait. So let me show you. You have to find out first a book that you trust, that the syllabus is covered in that book. So for me, Tamil Nadu history was the source, because I did not like history. It was very difficult for me to retain everything. So what I did was, I trusted Tamil Nadu history and trusted its syllabus. See, all the syllabus, the index that is given covers most of our syllabus itself, starting from Indian geographical factors, prehistoric India, then Vedic age, Jainism, then Gupta, till Marathas and coming of the Europeans. I felt that it fairly covered the syllabus. And of course, this is also recommended by a lot of toppers, right? So it must have some, content, that it is not that difficult, that it is not that skewed choice. It is a very regular choice that you have to, this book comes as a regular choice. Plus it is so small, so it's easy to read. Okay, so I based my notes on this book. What I did was, I read a chapter and I recollected whatever I could understand about the index of the about the topics that have been given. For example, the first topic that is India geographical features and their impact on history. So they have divided it into Himalayas. So my first topic heading is Himalayas. I read it. Whatever I realized that could be important for it, I wrote it down. That it has it acts as barrier to conserve and protect India as a unit. Passes, these are the passes. It's not only analysis part, it also has some facts, because I know that I will need to use facts in history. History answer will be, your history answer will be, elevated if you have a lot of facts, if you have some dates, if you have the names of people that were existing there, right? So I made sure that I have those content to sprinkle in my answer, so as to elevate my content, to show the examiner that yes, I know, right? So told about the passes, who all came through the passes. Missionaries and merchants also came. Trade and cultural contacts facilitated between India and Central Asia, Kashmir Valley, different cultural traditions were created. So this is what it is written in it. इसमें मेरा दिमाग बहुत ज्यादा नहीं लगा. I didn't have to Google. I didn't have to open anything. Right? So what I just went through this book. Similarly, the next heading is Assam Himalayas. The next heading is Indo-Gangetic Plains. Accordingly, what I felt was like Indo-Gangetic Plain, why it is important. Patliputra at the confluence of Son Ganga, capital of Maurya, Shunga, and Gupta, right? Western side of Ganga Plains, Deccan Plateau. That's it. This is my first chapter. So if you see, my whole notes are not only 33 pages of ancient and history, and it is very, sparsely written. So it's not very heavy. Do you know what was the first question of GS1 this time? Can you tell me?
Yes, role of geography in ancient history.
Is this the answer to your first question?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not saying that isko ratta maar ke you have to write. I'm saying that this practice facilitates you to have some kind of confidence, to have some kind of backing when you are writing something. Had you known this, had you written this fact once, even once, you would have certain idea that yes, because of Patliputra being at Indo-Gangetic Plains, it was a center of a lot of rulings. Big empires were based around it. There will be other points also around it, other factors also, like environment, climate, where water was available, where minerals were available. But it gives a certain amount of confidence when you have already gone through that content to a certain extent. So this is the practice that you have to do in your note making. Is it clear? It will not take much time, it will not take much brain, it will not take much effort, because you are basing it on a trusted source. You can give out the doubt ko chhod ke you can trust it, and you can like go ahead with your notes preparation. फिर 2 दिन बाद ऐसे नहीं लगेगा कि पता नहीं मैं क्या पढ़ रहा हूँ. I don't know what I'm studying. Am I studying right? Is my direction correct? After 2 days, that doubt that comes now, it's because of the sources majorly. Am I covering enough? Am I Googling enough? Do I need to spend more time? It is taking so much time. This will not take more than 15 minutes, this work. Right? So this way we'll go along with the book. What is unity? Next topic is unity and diversity. So we'll talk about it. It has given about various ancient histories se ab tak. Then maps also you can pick up. They are directly available. Or if they have a lot of, written content, you can create a map on your own, because you are brainstorming. You have a pen paper in front of you, right? This is what you're going to put in your final exam, right? Similarly, if, for example, you have to talk about about the culture of each and every empire, you can very well just pick it up, have some like Gupta Empire, for example. So some facts, like where do we find the sources of that literature, of that Gupta Empire? From literature works, from inscription, from coins. So what are those? You can take it from here directly. Then the expanse, even if it is not given in this, now that it was in north, it was there, is it like this? You draw a map to use in final exam, right? Who all visited also, you will realize. Then what was the polity? The division in this book is like that only. That what was the kind of polity at that time? It was more liberal than Maurya's, right? It was mild administration and there was benevolent kings. So all this will give you not only content but also an idea that okay, it roots it in your brain that there was no spy system. It was liberaler than Mauryan. So the decentralization happened from Maurya to Gupta period. Getting my point?
Ma'am, while preparing
Yes, ma'am.
such notes, your perspective was just mains centric, or you had that, I would add prelims data also along with it.
My prelims data that I would add in these notes were only those that I could use in mains. Because again, I did not like making notes for prelims because I knew that it was on recognition. So I would rather read this book again. I would underline it. I would underline in it and I would read it over and over again. And I would make these small, markings so that I can recollect immediately what is more important. Scribbling on my books will be very common thing. So you can choose, you can see how much time you have. If you have a some time, 1 month, 2 months, so it will require that much time to make quality books ke notes. I didn't have that much time. I gave my first attempt immediately, so I did not have that much time. I started like that. And also, again, I felt that in first reading, in second reading, you can't pick up enough for prelims. And it is based on recognition. There will always be something or the other that is left out, some fact, some idea, some feeling about that era, for example, the Gupta time. So you have to read that book over and over again to recognize it well. But when you're recollecting, you need very specific content. Like, was there a spy system or not? There was no spy system in Gupta period. That is a point that you could write in final exam by telling, if you want to tell a trend. So that is how, like, you have to brainstorm, you have to think ahead. And I based my notes for mains majorly. That how would I use my content for mains? Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Is it tough to make notes in this format, like in this way? And this can be done for any book, not only Tamil Nadu history. Any one book that you trust, just trust it, and then go ahead and make notes. It will do wonders on your attention power, because you're not only making notes, a lot of thinking is going on, and it's double revision. You're reading and you're writing, or you're brainstorming and then you're reading and writing. It adds layers to your preparation. Arish Sharma, I did not read. You can, it is recommended by a lot of toppers and, coaching institutes. So just see the syllabus. You have to put your brains and like the effort in knowing that is the book enough for the syllabus. Just compare the syllabus and the index of the book. That is the effort that you actually want to do in researching. Otherwise, just sit and take 2 hours out that I want to finish this book in 3 hours, 4 hours, whatever your speed is going to be, and just do it, complete it. Don't get up before doing it. How much so ever time you want to take. If you're a slow reader, I am a slow reader. But once I have read it, I will, remember it for a long time. And if I'm reading it and I'm making notes, I will not forget it, for sure. Got it? All right. Similarly, for modern history, what if you're following spectrum, what you can do? Take the topic. If you're talking, if you are taking the topic of, for example, let's take a topic. Civil disobedience movement, let's say. Okay. So in civil disobedience movement, read it, see what are the important parts that can be asked around civil disobedience movement. Like, what the question is, what are the political activities that were going before 1929? So what does that mean? The idea would be, what things did what are the events that led to civil disobedience movement? So you have read it the before ones. Try to brainstorm in one word, not big lengthy sentences, that what are the events that led to civil disobedience movement in 1929. If the things that you're brainstorming have to be one-worded content, or maybe one or two, like phrases, not full sentences, the things that you want to add, you want to remember. For example, if you want to say that there was a Calcutta session before civil disobedience movement, where it was, then you can write civil disobedience got its nod in this Congress in 1928 in Calcutta session. Okay. Yes, there is a summary given in the end also. That also comes very handy. What you can do is you can get it photocopied, and you can add your content around that only. If you want to elevate that content, if you want to add more content to it, more analysis to it, you can use that summary. That comes very handy. Right? So you got the idea how to do it. Let's see geography.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
ma'am, is there any need to write full structure sentences, or can we write in like short form?
Sorry.
मतलब मैं पूछना चाहती हूँ कि मतलब पैराग्राफ में लिखने की कोई जरूरत है क्या, मतलब एग्जाम की डिमांड है क्या हम पैराग्राफ में लिखें आंसर्स?
क्वेश्चन पूछ रहा है ऐसा, if according to the demand only, यार, if the demand compels you to write in paragraphs, write in paragraphs. Content is the king. Structure doesn't matter if you have content. अगर structure तो दे रहे हो पर content will not be there, leave it. You will not get marks. और मिलेंगे तो एक दो नंबर मिलेंगे. मेजर जो डिमांड एड्रेस करने पे जो नंबर मिलते हैं वो नहीं मिलेंगे. Right? Chalo, let me show you. This was Indian geography. I have these full notes, but I don't know, this is inverted and I'm not able to straighten it. Just if you can see, like the physical geography part, this is from chapter 1 only. This is from NCRTs itself. The source is NCRT. The series of the notes is also in the series of NCRT. Again, I trusted that source. I took it. I took all the diagrams. I took the contents ka heading and wrote down in the form of, if I had to write an answer about volcanoes, for example, shield volcanoes, what are the features? Then a diagram would come. Composite volcano, some diagrams. That's it. I think this much is given in NCRT. This would be enough for writing a question on volcanoes preliminary. It's not that the enough content. I'm not saying this is the final content that you have to write in final exam. But this is the basic content that will give you the backing that yes, you know some diagrams on it, some fixed content, pakka content on it. How
are these your final notes? I mean, or did you prepare like an extensive notes? It's just a 35-page document.
Yes,
so you
yes.
condensed it into that?
This is my final notes. These were my final notes. These were the ones that I revised just before exam.
Okay, ma'am. Before that, you made extensive notes also where you were just like explaining also? No. Okay.
I used books themselves. Again, books and scribbling on the sides or the sticky notes. On them only I carried forward my collection of content if I required for prelims.
Ma'am, one final question. Were you able to prepare all these notes before prelims itself or during the break between the prelims and mains?
I did it during prelims and mains. During my second attempt, I did this. It was afterwards, after prelims only. And again, because it is not taking much time, it looks like it will take much time, but when you have a source fixed, you have trust on it, you just sit. How much time would it take to you for reading this NCRT, which you have already read for prelims? It will not take more than 1 day. Just or maximum, agar notes banane hai to saath mein it will take 2 days. But this is more or less like scribbling, right? So when you are reading it, for example, denudation process, I was reading weathering, mass movement, and erosion. It was given in the book. I just was recollecting and putting it in a format that I would want to write it in the final exam. So no googling is required. Don't put your head in googling the facts. एक ही fact को google करने में आधा घंटा लगा दिया. No, just trust a book. Just trust the source and note it down. Note it down in the sense, brainstorm it and note the things down that you want to use in the final exam. Right? These were my final notes. They were geography was majorly based around diagrams. Along with diagrams, I took all the topics that were given in the book and noted it down in this format. Right? I'll show you this. This will be much easier to see. So this was the mountain ka Himalaya. If a question came on Himalayas, I would have definitely drawn this. This is the structure of Himalaya. Even if it is a very small one, I would have drawn this, like where all what Himalayas start. This is a water divide diagram. This is given in the NCERT itself. बहुत ज़्यादा मैंने दिमाग नहीं लगाया. Yes, I have simplified the diagram according to my convenience, that I will use it in the final exam. This is how I will use it. I will not draw a pakka sa India ka map. I would draw a rough map like this, triangle, and then my line would go like this. And while making this, a lot went in behind making this diagram. I knew that Narmada flows from here. I knew that Ganga flows from here, like that. It helps a lot in making notes that way. Okay, evolution of peninsular river regime, right? Seasons of India, summer season, all these are topics are by NCERTs itself. Fjord that was asked is also in GC Lyon. Had somebody made notes of Fjord, they would have known. There is a diagram of Norway somewhere that this something like this, and the water is the water is there, and there is Fjord, and there are the other ways. This all you need is to trust a book and sit for some time. All right. Okay. So we have discussed about majorly. I've shown you my notes of GS1. Similar practices you have to do for GS2, GS3, each and every topic, disaster management and all. Maybe we'll take another session around it about the disaster management. Now we'll take the questions for the current affairs related. You can choose any one compilation of current affairs and make your notes around it. Don't run around Googling the topics of the syllabus or topics of current affairs. No. They are doing it for you. Don't reinvent the wheel. Just take it and just note it down in a format that you would want to use in your answers while after brainstorming it. Not just noting it down, brainstorming it. I'll share the PDFs of these two that I've shown. Don't worry. All right, we'll take the questions now. We'll discuss about GS2, GS3 further. We'll take another session after beyond this, an open session.
Ma'am, if I'm reading Vision Monthly magazine, is it necessary to read the Mains 365?
No. PT 365 becomes important, but Mains 365 is more or less a compilation of this only.
Monthly
magazines. But what Mains 365 does is, it gives you a structure. So, for example, society fact sheet I showed you.
Yes.
What you had to do is, just for women, all the topics were given in one heading.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? So, for society fact sheet, women was consolidated, but in monthly magazine, it will not be there.
Yes, ma'am.
So, that is the benefit I felt for this compilation.
Monthly magazine and PT 365 में कोई अंतर होता है, ma'am? Fact the same.
Yes. In my first attempt, मैंने monthly magazines follow करी थी, and a question came M stripes. Everybody seemed to know it except me because I had not read PT 365. It was there in PT 365.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Digital note making. Subodh, thank you for reminding me. I wanted to show you how to do it. The technique will remain same. The technique remains same, that you have to have a trusted source, and from that trusted source, you go ahead and note down what you want to use in final exam. Wait, let me share my screen once again. I did my society notes preparation, majorly society fact sheet creation through that. Through digital note making, but my source was PT 365 itself. So I took the topics and the headings that were given in PT 365 itself. For example, gender issues. I went through it. I saw what I will be able to use This is a fact sheet, so it is a noting down. There is a different fact sheet is the only the factual content that you would want to use. So what I did, gender issue, whatever issues were given in the PT 365 itself with the current affairs, I mentioned that, and all the facts that I wanted to use around it. For example, child marriage. So UN Public Service Award to Kanya Shri Parikalp Yojana in West Bengal, right? For empowerment, what all is going on? For entrepreneurship, what all is going on? So when I know that some question is there where I want to mention entrepreneurship, I know what I want to mention. That Facebook with Odisha government has given some under Mission Shakti, they have started a She Means Business program. This is an example that I have found, that I have noted it down, right? Similarly, Maternity Benefit Act, MAA from UNICEF, Vatsalya Matri Amrit Yojana, all these things were given there. In India, nearly 13% of newborn die below 5 years of age due to poor breastfeeding practices. Institutional delivery is this. PM Matru Vandana Yojana is around institutional delivery, quality of institutional delivery. Then transgender is also there, domestic violence, cybercrime. This was I read it somewhere and I felt that I could use it somewhere in women empowerment in a 15 marker question where I could divide my answer into these headings: that sense of self-worth, access to resources, right to decision making, control over their ability to influence the direction of social change. So I noted it down for further use. These examples can be taken from newspaper also, yes. But again, it takes a lot of time. Somebody is compiling it for you, use them. Use their effort that they've already made. Similarly, then the next topic was children. So whatever facts that I felt, child labor, on child sex abuse, juvenile delinquency, these were the topics of the PT 365 itself. My notes, my mains, my current affairs got covered with this. Did they? Do you think that I would be able to write any question that comes with the current affair reference now? Right? It will be possible with this content. Because I trusted one source, I knew that this source is good for me. It has a holistic, it gives me a holistic content and understanding of the topic. I made it from PT 365. You can use Mains 365 for your content. Any one source. Right? Old age. Then these diagrams also I used to collect myself only, beforehand only, so that whenever such a question will come on old age, I will definitely draw. And a question came on in 2020, I think, about globalization impact on elderly. I drew it straight away. Right? Tribals, minorities, disabled, social justice, education. These were the headings that were given by Mains PT 365 itself. I just took it and used it in my topics of health, for example, child care, child health, nutrition, malnourishment. Right? Are you able to understand? Subodh, does it clear some idea for digital note making?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you'll be able to make a fact sheet now for not only society, but environment, economy, polity, wherever. Polity may be facts, you need to facts, or, when you are talking about some value addition content. For example, you want to quote a committee that ADR did this, or a Supreme Court judgment did this. So that also is a fact, and that can also be included in a fact sheet. It doesn't necessarily have to be numbers. अनिमेश बताओ।
मैम जैसे सोसाइटी में एल्डरली पॉपुलेशन पे किसी एक टॉपिक को उठा के क्वेश्चन पूछ लिया डेप्थ में, तो मैम मेंस 365 से तो कवर नहीं होगा ना। जैसे मान लीजिए चैलेंजेस पूछ लिए, उसमें 3-4 दिए होते हैं, तो मंथली मैगजीन से हमें वो भी पढ़ना पड़ेगा। मंथली मैगजीन में उसमें ज्यादा कंटेंट होता है।
चैलेंजेस का पूछ रहे हो? दोबारा पूछो अपना क्वेश्चन।
मैम जैसे एल्डरली पॉपुलेशन है, उससे कई सारे इश्यूज होते हैं, तो एक
हम्म
चैलेंजेस को उठा के क्वेश्चन पूछ लिया कि क्या क्या चैलेंजेस हैं। तो
हम्म
मैम जैसे मेन 365 में तो 3-4 पॉइंट दे दिए होंगे, तो उसके
हम्म
डेप्थ में जाने के लिए मैम मंथली मैगजीन पढ़नी पड़ेगी कि अलग से कुछ करना होगा?
ये जो टॉपिक्स है ना, जो हेडिंग्स है, चैलेंजेस, इश्यूज, रीजंस, मैनिफेस्टेशंस, इम्पैक्ट, ये सब दिमाग लगाने वाले टॉपिक है, ये वाले एरियाज हैं। ब्रेनस्टॉर्मिंग यही वाले एरियाज में होना है,
यस
और
मैम।
इन सब से उसको ऑगमेंट करना है। तो जो चैलेंजेस है वो जो दिए हैं उसने, वो तो दिए हैं, पर तुम्हें क्या लगता है क्या क्या चैलेंजेस हैं? वो वाले चैलेंजेस तुम बनाओ, और मेंस 365 वगैरह में से फ्रेजेस ढूंढो कि तुम्हारे जो वर्ड्स हैं उसको छोटा कैसे किया जा सकता है।
यस मैम।
दिमाग खुद लगाना है उसमें, उसमें नहीं कहीं से रटना या कहीं से कॉपी पेस्ट करना। नो, जो चैलेंजेस, इश्यूज, ये सब जो ये ब्रेनस्टॉर्मिंग वाले टॉप एरियाज हैं, ये सिर्फ ऑगमेंट होने चाहिए फॉर वर्ड्स, फॉर ब्रेविटी, फॉर फैक्ट्स, समथिंग लाइक दैट, और फॉर वैल्यू एडिशन। दे शुड नॉट बी पिक्ड फ्रॉम एनीवेयर।
यस मैम। एंड मैम आपने सही बोला कि एक ही पेज पे पूरा कंपाइलेशन दे दिया है, तो रिवीजन में आसानी होगी।
आसान, दिस इज मच इजियर एज कम्पेयर टू गूगलिंग, और फिर उसके बाद वो नोट्स बना लो, फिर वो इतने सारे नोट्स हो जाते हैं, फिर पढ़े ही नहीं जाते कभी। दैट्स ऑफ नो यूज।
मैम जैसे शून्य आईएएस की जो बुकलेट्स आती हैं, उसमें दिया रहता है, तो उसमें अपडेट करते रहे हम।
उसमें अपडेट करते रहो, नहीं तो उसकी नोट्स बना लो ना यार, दैट्स सच अ गुड सोर्स।
यस मैम।
When you are writing something down after processing it through your brain, it helps a lot. उसमें सब syllabus topic wise दिया हुआ है, you take up that and you make your own notes. उसमें भी बहुत एक्स्ट्रा माल दिया है, नहीं चाहिए वो सब माल। तो अपने अकॉर्डिंग टू योर आंसर राइटिंग स्टाइल, व्हाट डू यू वांट टू ऐड? यू वांट टू, उसमें डायग्राम्स तो नहीं दिए, उसमें ग्राफ्स तो नहीं दिए, बनाओ ना तुम, उसको पुश करो उसके कंटेंट को इन ग्राफ्स, इन डायग्राम्स, इन इन्फोग्राफिक्स, एंड व्हेन यू प्रैक्टिस इट बाय योर हैंड, वही लिख के आओगे फाइनल एग्जाम में।
जी मैम, थैंक यू मैम।
Okay.
Ma'am,
Yeah. When did I make these notes? Just that I want to address. Immediately after mera prelims was over, and I had mera first mains mein I got 358 something marks in my GS mains, and I realized that I had to add value to my content to take these marks to 400. So you made this immediately after prelims. You can do it before prelims also and use it for your answer writing practice. But keep it open when you are practicing your answers. Keep it open. For example, women का question आ गया, तो इसको खोल के रखो और देखो कौन सा फैक्ट डाल सकते हो उसमें। तो उससे क्या होगा? एक तो you will get habitual to writing facts. Second, you will know the placement कि कहाँ क्या लिखना होता है, कैसे लिखना होता है. It will help a lot in that sense.
How many times did you revise these notes to internalize them into your answer?
These were like, I don't know, 100 times maybe. They were open in front of me all the time. I actually took a good phone to operate my digital notes so that I could open them and write my answers whenever I want to. And I would go around, whenever I'm going around, I would scroll it very regularly. They became very personal notes. Like I remembered them by heart. कि मैंने कहाँ क्या लिखा है. अच्छा, एल्डरली के बाद वुमेन आएगा, वुमेन के बाद एल्डरली आएगा, उसके बाद चाइल्ड आएगा, ऐसा करके. ऐसा मैकेनिज्म बना लो कि सुबह उठ के पहले रट्टा मारोगे. नो, जब भी ब्रेनस्टॉर्मिंग करो, ओपन दिस.
Okay, ma'am.
Ma'am, I'm saying, ma'am, already in the market we are getting this. Sony is also providing data and fact sheet, ma'am. So, additionally we have to do it, or we can refer to it, ma'am.
देख लो यार, बिकॉज आई थिंक दोज फैक्ट शीट, जब तक आप देखो, नोट्स बनाना ना सिर्फ नोट्स बनाना नहीं होता है, वो आपके दिमाग से प्रोसेस होके गया है कंटेंट. तो वो फैक्ट शीट, एक तो ये जब तुमने पढ़ के जब उसको लिखा तो किसी रेलेवेंस के थ्रू था वो. When it was there in a topic, and when you took it out from that topic, it was related to that topic in your brain. चाहे वो आपके notes में नहीं दिख रहा है, but you will always know where that fact was placed. It helps a lot. Doing that raw effort, no, it helps a lot in final exam. आपकी अंडरस्टैंडिंग बढ़ती है, उसका प्लेसमेंट कहाँ होना है, उसको कैसे लिखना है. that is important, जो कि वो फैक्ट शीट्स में नहीं मिलता है. So even if you have a fact sheet, you supplement your fact sheet with it. I would recommend. उन पे 100% rely मत करो.
Okay, ma'am.
And can you show your polity notes?
Polity notes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. वेट, या बोलो. गौरव, योर वॉइस इज क्रैकिंग. एक बार रिकरेक्ट कर सकते हो क्या?
मैम मेंस के लिए कितने महीने का करंट अफेयर्स पढ़ना पड़ेगा पीटी 365 से? 2 साल?
नहीं भाई, एक ही बहुत है.
Okay.
एवरी ईयर दे विल कंपाइल, लाइक पूरा होलिस्टिक देते हैं, सो दैट एक साल में पूरा हो जाए. पीछे से शुरू करो. फॉर एग्जाम्पल द मेंस अभी अभी से पढ़ना शुरू कर रहे हो तो अक्टूबर चल रहा है तो सितंबर वाला पढ़ना शुरू करो, फिर उससे पीछे पढ़ो. जब लगने लगे कि कंटेंट रेपिटेटिव हो जाए तो छोड़ दो.
Okay.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
ma'am, what happens is when I write answer na, Hapland test, I know 3-4 answers very rightly, but when I write other topics, I know very little bit about every question.
Okay.
Like मुझे बस 3-4 क्वेश्चन सही से आते हैं, बाकी ऐसा लगता है यार मुझे तो कुछ आता ही नहीं, बस थोड़ा थोड़ा पता है. मतलब ऐसा लगता है यार कुछ तो आता ही नहीं मुझे, फिर कैसे लिखूं? तब क्या किया जाए मैम?
एक तो यार देखो, रिवीजन और विद टाइम आपका कंटेंट, आपकी अंडरस्टैंडिंग बढ़ती है.
जी.
और कंटेंट थोड़ा थोड़ा ही आता होता है, आपको
Okay.
दिमाग लगाना होता है वहां पे. ब्रेनस्टॉर्म करके जो क्वेश्चन पूछ रहा है, अगर वही सवाल वो पेपर में ना लिख के इफ वी वर डिस्कसिंग ओरली, यू वुड डेफिनेटली हैव ब्रॉट अप मोर कंटेंट. वो इतना बड़ा
Ma'am,
मेंटल ब्लॉकेज रहता है ना कि इसमें तो इतना स्पेसिफिक कंटेंट लिखना है, पेपर पे लिखना है और पूरे ऐसे फॉर्मेट में लिखना है. पहले
जी.
लिखने से कंफर्टेबल हो जाओ कि मुझे जो आता है मैं उसको कैसे लिख दूं कि वो पूरा क्वेश्चन एड्रेस हो जाए.
जी.
फिर उसको स्ट्रक्चर में करेंगे ना, रिप्रेजेंटेशन ऐसा करेंगे, उसको पॉइंट में डालेंगे, उसको ऐसे डालेंगे.
मैम कुछ टॉपर्स ऐसे बोलते हैं कि आपको मतलब सब क्वेश्चंस ऐसे, मतलब आप तब आपको सोच नहीं सकते, आपको डायरेक्ट लिखना है मेंस में. मतलब ऐसा होता है कि मैम सच में कि
Yes,
आप
yes.
क्वेश्चन सब लिख सकते हो डायरेक्ट, मतलब आपको
यार
सोचने
वहां
का भी
तो
वक्त नहीं
सोचने का
मिलता?
टाइम ही नहीं होता ना, वहां तो टाइम ही नहीं है, सो आपका पेन नहीं रुक सकता है इन
तो यहाँ
फाइनल
पे तो
एग्जाम.
मुझे ओके, यहाँ पे तो मैम मैं 1 घंटे का क्वेश्चन को 1.5 आवर लगा देती हूँ, 1 आवर का पेपर को, तो बहुत हो जाएगा ना मैम. वैसे कैसे होता है फिर मैम?
वो ऐसे होता है कि आप रिवीजन करोगे जितना जितना ब्रेनस्टॉर्म करोगे. देखो अभी तो आपको परफेक्ट आंसर लिखना नहीं है, अभी यू आर स्टिल इन प्रिपरेशन फेज,
जी.
तो डरो मत. पहले तो कोई बात नहीं है, अभी हो रहा है तो कोई बात नहीं, अभी जितनी गलतियां करनी है अभी कर दो, ताकि फाइनल एग्जाम तक आते आते परफेक्ट हो जाओ. तो डरो
Okay.
मत. लग रहा है 1.5 घंटा, कोई बात नहीं, एफर्ट मारो कि वो 1 घंटे में हो जाए. नहीं लिखना है
जी.
बहुत अच्छा आंसर, बस जो वो पूछ रहा है वो बताना है उसको. अगर उतना
Okay.
जितना तुम्हें पता है और तुमने उसको बता दिया कि जो आप पूछ रहे हो मुझे उसके बारे में इतना पता है, तो तुम ये तो बता दोगी, तो उससे क्या होगा, ब्रेनस्टॉर्म तो हो गया तुम्हारा. अगली बार जब कंटेंट पढ़ोगी, सारा का
Okay.
सारा कंटेंट इट विल स्टिक टू यू, और जब उससे अगली बार वो आंसर लिखोगी, देन इट विल बी अ बेटर आंसर देन द वन दैट यू हैव रिटन बिफोर. उसमें
जी.
ज्यादा कंटेंट होगा, उसमें जो तुम्हारी अंडरस्टैंडिंग है वो और डेवलप होगी, क्योंकि पहले ब्रेनस्टॉर्म किया, कंटेंट पढ़ा और दोबारा लिख रही हो आंसर. समझे?
Okay.
तो
Yes ma'am.
डरने की बात नहीं, इट्स अ वेरी ऑर्गेनिक प्रोसेस. बिल्कुल, मतलब व्हेन the urge to write a perfect answer in the first go is the killer of everything in UPSC preparation. नहीं करना है अभी परफेक्ट, फाइनल एग्जाम में परफेक्ट करेंगे, अभी गलतियां करनी है.
Yes ma'am.
राइट?
Yes ma'am.
Hello, ma'am.
हाँ गौरव.
Ma'am, am I audible now?
या
Ma'am, my question was that while making notes or while doing answer writing, following the pistol approach is still relevant or should we change it?
नो यार, इट्स रेलेवेंट. सारा सिलेबस ही पेस्टल पे है, तो फिर हाउ इट विल नॉट बी रेलेवेंट?
And ma'am, it's a very common approach. So how can we upgrade it to make it different from others?
मत लिखो ना पॉलिटी, इकोनॉमी लिखो, स्ट्रक्चरल, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चरल, एटीट्यूडनल, इसमें डिवाइड कर लो. फाइंड आउट ए वाले अप्रोच रहता है, लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल एजुकेशन, हेल्थ, फूड, इस सब में रहता है अवेलेबिलिटी, अफोर्डेबिलिटी, एक्सेसिबिलिटी, राइट, क्वालिटी, अब ये भी ऐड है। तो ये सब ब्रेनस्टॉर्मिंग के वो बने। सिर्फ हर जगह पेस्टल मत लगाओ, कुछ जगह ये लगाओ, कुछ जगह इसमें लगाओ कि फॉर एग्जांपल डेवलपमेंट कौन कौन सी होनी चाहिए, सोशल, मटेरियल, नेचुरल एंड ह्यूमन कैपिटल। तो ये सब
Yes, ma'am.
ब्रेनस्टॉर्मिंग करने से ही आएगा। ब्रेनस्टॉर्मिंग करोगे जब जब वो कंटेंट पढ़ रहे हो, किसी के नोट्स पढ़ रहे हो या किसी का वो पढ़ रहे हो, मेन से 65 पढ़ रहे हो, तो देखो उसने कैसे डिवाइड किया अपने आंसर को, अपने पॉइंट्स को, वो वाला स्ट्रक्चर अडॉप्ट करो। फॉर एग्जाम्पल मैंने अभी विमेन वाला दिखाया कि विमेन का
हाँ,
किस किस में डिवाइड कर सकते थे, कि उनको एजेंसी होनी चाहिए, उनको सेंस ऑफ पर्पस होना चाहिए, उनको अपनी लाइफ पे कंट्रोल होना चाहिए। दीज आर ऑल हेडिंग्स ओनली ना। कल को अगर कुछ पॉइंट लिखना होगा तो इन्हीं हेडिंग्स के अंडर लिखेंगे।
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, second question is that ma'am, how to write an effective conclusion? Because ना मैम इसमें बहुत प्रॉब्लम आती है राइटिंग करते वक्त भी, और फिर अंत में वो टाइम खा जाता है बहुत।
देखो कुछ तो फॉर्मेट्स हैं कि कैसे कंक्लूजन लिखना है, कि एसडीजी लिख दिया, अमृत भारत लिख दिया, आत्मनिर्भर भारत लिख दिया, लोकल फॉर ग्लोबल, ये सब कुछ है। एक है फॉरवर्ड लुकिंग होना चाहिए कंक्लूजन, तो थोड़ा सा दिमाग लगाओ और उसको ऐसा दिखाओ कि ये और ये मिलके, या फिर सो मेनी स्टेक होल्डर्स व्हेन दे कम टुगेदर दे विल क्रिएट अ better situation. For example, urbanization. So if people, government and private sector come together, so it will lead to sustainable urbanization. या फिर और क्या कर सकते हो, जस्ट जो तुमने पूरा लिखा अभी उसको थोड़ा सा समराइज करके लिख दो फाइनल कंक्लूजन, कुछ भी नहीं समझ में आ रहा है तो, राइट। ये प्रैक्टिस से आएगा यार, जितना प्रैक्टिस करोगे ना उतने दीस कंक्लूजन विल स्टार्ट बिल्डिंग अप इन योर हेड, और उतना नेचुरली आने लगेगा फिर ये।
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much.
ओके ओके, नैन्सी बताओ।
सो मैम अभी मैंने जैसे कुछ हिस्ट्री चालू किया है, तो उसकी यूएनसीईआरटी चालू की है, तो मैम फर्स्ट रीडिंग में ही नोट बनाना है या फिर वो कुछ समझ में नहीं आता?
नहीं बन, अभी रुको, पढ़ो जब समझ में आ जाएगा तुम्हें कि अंडरस्टैंडिंग डेवलप हो गई है मेरी। अब क्वेश्चन देखो, थोड़ा क्वेश्चंस को रेफर करो, यू विल बी एबल टू मेक इट कि अभी अंडरस्टैंडिंग डेवलप हुई है या नहीं हुई है, अभी और पढ़ने की जरूरत है।
ओके मैम, ओके।
सो दीज आर माय पॉलिटी नोट्स। ये है, दीज आर द वंस फ्रॉम लक्ष्मीकांत, जिसमें आई हैव ओनली टेकन अप द कंटेंट। फॉर एग्जांपल ये जो है कि मॉरिस जोन्स ने क्या कहा, बार्गेनिंग फेडरलिज्म है इंडिया की, अलेक्जेंड्रोविच ने बोला सुई जेनरिस है, ये सब लक्ष्मीकांत में दिया है। एसआर बोमई केस दैट फेडरलिज्म इज अ बेसिक स्ट्रक्चर, ये लक्ष्मीकांत से उठाया है फॉर एडिंग स्प्रिंकलिंग ऑन माय एनालिसिस, कि अगर फेडरल सिस्टम पे कुछ सवाल आएगा तो मेरा कंक्लूजन रहेगा कि अलेक्जेंड्रोविच कॉल्ड इंडियाज फेडरल सिस्टम अ सुई जेनरिस। ओके, और ये है करंट अफेयर्स से, सेंटर स्टेट रिलेशंस के बारे में टॉपिक था, मेन से 65 से है फेडरलिज्म के ऊपर। तो व्हाट आर द इश्यूज विद सेंटर स्टेट रिलेशंस, लेजिस्लेटिव जो है वो कैसे अपना सेंटर स्टेट रिलेशंस मैनेज करता है, एग्जीक्यूटिव कैसे करता है, और फाइनेंशियल कैसे होता है, राइट?
Ma'am, you're emphasizing on practice much. You prefer daily answer writing या आप timed answer writing करते थे, एक आवर में 7 क्वेश्चन लिखूंगी या ऐसे?
या टाइम ही करना है, वो रिलैक्स आंसर राइटिंग तो करनी ही नहीं, अगली बार इंप्रूव करना, इस बार टाइम में ही लिखना है आंसर। वो अपने आप को वो वाला फील ही नहीं देना है कि हम ये आंसर 15 मिनट में भी लिख सकते हैं। नो, 10 मार्कर हैज टू बी रिटन इन 7.5 मिनट, कितना मर्जी गंदा आंसर लिखो पर लिख के बंद कर देना है 7.5 मिनट में। एंड देन नेक्स्ट टाइम व्हेन यू रीड इट, व्हेन यू रीराइट या कुछ लिखोगे कहीं, तब जाके उसको 7.5 मिनट में बेटर आंसर लिखना, बट अभी वो 15 मिनट नहीं होगा, अभी वो 7 मिनट 7.5 मिनट्स ही होगा। टाइम मैनेजमेंट सबसे पहला चीज है अपने आंसर राइटिंग में, उसके बाद कंटेंट डेवलप होता है धीरे 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 धीरे।
Good afternoon,
Okay,
ma'am.
ma'am.
हाँ गायत्री।
Ma'am, I'm following Vision Monthly Magazine, ma'am. Should I read PT 365 and Main 365 also?
Use these Mains 365 and PT 365 for index and topics, कि कुछ मिस ना, कंसोलिडेट करने के लिए, कि विमेन के सारे जो टॉपिक्स हैं वो एक साथ कंसोलिडेट हो जाए।
Okay, ma'am. Then can I make notes from only monthly magazine? Is it sufficient?
If you think that you are able to consolidate it, अगर विमेन का टॉपिक आ गया तो आप उससे एड्रेस कर पाओगे, तो देन यू कैन गो अहेड विद इट.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
मैम
मैम
फॉर
एक और क्वेश्चन था।
2021 के अटेम्प्ट के लिए मेंस 2023 वाले से नोट्स बना सकते हैं?
बना सकते हो यार. इन करंट अफेयर्स में कुछ चेंज नहीं होता, बहुत ज्यादा मेजर चेंज नहीं आता है. तो वेट मत करो कि 2024 के लिए हम 2024 की मेंस 365 पीटी 365 से बनाएंगे. नहीं करो, बना दो.
ओके
अभी से पुराना पढ़ लो. कुछ चेंज नहीं होता यार इंडिया में. तुम उठा के देख लो 2015 की, उठा के देख लो 2017 की, उठा के देख लो, सेम कंटेंट चलता आ रहा है.
यस
बस
मैम.
एक वो जो रीसेंट वाली चीज होती है ना, वो चेंज हो जाती है.
ओके मैम, थैंक यू मैम.
ओके
मैम
मैम
ये आकाश.
मैम करंट अफेयर्स के लिए विजन का मंथली मैगजीन पे फोकस करना चाहिए या पीटी 365 पढ़कर भी हो जाएगा मैम?
अगर तो यार देखो फर्स्ट टाइमर हो, देन आई वुड रिकमेंड कि मंथली मैगजीन कर लो. देन जब मेंस और पीटी आए तो उसको इंडेक्स को और कंपाइलेशन को एक बार चेक कर लेना कि कुछ छूट तो नहीं रहा है.
मैम मैं क्वेश्चन इसलिए पूछ रहा हूँ ना मैम, क्योंकि मंथली मैगजीन बहुत हैवी हो जाता है मैम एट द एंड ऑफ ईयर.
तो कंपाइलेशंस पढ़ लो, दैट इज आल्सो फाइन. बट मंथली मैगजीन से क्या होता है ना, धीरे धीरे आपका अंडरस्टैंडिंग डेवलप होता है अबाउट करंट अफेयर्स, अबाउट द हैपनिंग्स अराउंड. तो it helps to a certain extent in a different way, पर compilation wise PT 365 main 365 comes very handy.
मैम
Yeah, Amal.
मैम आपने जैसे बताया मैम एंशिएंट मेडिवल के लिए रफली 30 to 35 पेजेस के नोट्स थे आपके. मतलब मैम तो ऐसा सारे सब्जेक्ट्स के लिए है क्या मैम? लाइक आपने जैसे नोट्स बनाए?
Yes, मोस्टली सारे सब्जेक्ट्स के लिए है. डिजास्टर के लिए पॉलिटी का दिखाया मैंने, तो वो भी ज्यादा नहीं, 10-15-25 पेजेस के नोट्स हैं.
ओके मैम, तो क्या हमें एक्सेस मिल सकते हैं मैम नोट्स का आपके?
मैं दे दूंगी यार, बट वही नोट्स अपने अपने होते हैं. मैं दे
मैम
दूंगी.
आइडिया के लिए मैम कि हम हाउ टू मेक आवर नोट्स, तो एक आइडिया रेफरेंस पॉइंट के लिए मैम.
I will share my notes.
ओके मैम, थैंक यू.
Could be the reliable source for environment.
एनवायरमेंट की अपनी एक तो पहले ये बुक शंकर आईएएस, और फिर करंट अफेयर्स, कोई भी एक.
Ma'am,
ma'am, I have scored 400 in mains 2022. So, ma'am, how can I just upgrade my score from 400 to 450 in mains 2024?
Okay, तो ये वाला जो like I will have to see कि what is your issue exactly, and what all are the scope of improvement, like how much facts you are using, how much presentation skills that you can improve, or any organization skills that can be used. उस पे depend करेगा. But I think adding this, ये जो मैंने quality का भी दिखाया ना, that comes very handy.
Yes, ma'am.
Quality की book देख के उसको read it from a mains perspective, and
Okay,
try adding that content in it. Similarly for history also, try adding factual content in your answer. That will help to a certain extent.
Okay, thank you so much.
मैम
Yeah.
मैम आपने सिलेबस के सारे पॉइंट्स का नोट बनाया है 35 पेज में?
मैंने यार सिलेबस के पॉइंट्स का नहीं, मतलब कौन से 35 पेज में, ये एंशिएंट हिस्ट्री का बोल रहे हो?
यस मैम.
मैंने सिलेबस के अकॉर्डिंग नहीं बनाया, मैंने सिलेबस के अकॉर्डिंग बुक चूज करी और बुक्स के नोट्स बनाए हैं. दैट हैज बीन माय स्ट्रेटजी.
ओके मैम. मैम मतलब सिलेबस जितने भी, जैसे पॉलिटी, हिस्ट्री, ज्योग्राफी, इन सब के सिलेबस के पॉइंट जितने भी हैं, उन सबका नोट्स बनाना कंपल्सरी है क्या?
यार अगर मेंस के लिए जा रहे हो तो मेरे ख्याल से कंपल्सरी हो जाता है. गवर्नेंस के लिए, डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट के लिए, इन सब के लिए कंपल्सरी हो जाता है.
ओके मैम.
मैम काइंडली सजेस्ट अ गुड सोर्स फॉर
मैम एक
गवर्नेंस.
मेंटल ब्लॉकेट सा आ चुका है, जैसे मतलब जैसे नोट्स अपग्रेड होंगे तभी टेस्ट लिखूंगी या ऐसे
नहीं,
करके, तो
नहीं करना है ये. लिखो यार, उससे ही नोट्स अपग्रेड होंगे. परफेक्ट नोट्स बनाओगे, परफेक्ट आंसर लिखोगे, कुछ नहीं हो पाएगा. सब कुछ इम्परफेक्टली करते रहो, वो अपने आप परफेक्शन की तरफ मूव होगे.
ओके मैम.
ठीक है, देन वी क्लोज द सेशन. Darshan.
Yes, ma'am. So doubt is regarding governance and ethics. So while I was preparing for governance, I would say a fortnight now, I have faced certain difficulties while preparing for certain topics like role of civil services in democracy. There are other topics as well which includes HRD, that is human resource development, and issues associated with other social sector schemes. Now, what happens is, ma'am, that the resources are not directly available in any course per se, and we have to Google them usually. Even in Vision-IS magazines, I have seen magazines or notes that is quite digital one. Even there, it is not covered holistically. So, ma'am, what it happens is it becomes very difficult for me to compile anything, or to understand which source needs to be followed. So, can you please give any suggestions that I can improve over it, or I can streamline my preparation with respect to these particular topics that we have?
Okay. So, for example, you're talking about civil services wala topic. There was a yellow book from Vajiram. उसने गवर्नेंस का मेरा बेसिक जो सिलेबस था ना, दैट इट कवर्ड, एंड आई कुड मेक लाइक हाफ पेजर टू 1 पेजर कंटेंट वाइज नोट फ्रॉम दैट. ऑन दैट आई स्टार्टेड टू ऐड फ्रॉम अदर सोर्सेज, लाइक फैक्ट्स कहाँ से ऐड करने हैं. होलिस्टिक नहीं, होलिस्टिक तो कोई सोर्स नहीं है. पहला स्टेप ये होना चाहिए टू सी एनी वन सोर्स विच हैज कवर्ड ऑल द पोर्शंस ऑफ योर सिलेबस. Vajiram ki yellow book was that source for me, and it gave me a certain level of comfort. For example, अगर RTI का सवाल आ जाएगा तो I will have certain idea about what to write in RTI. वो करने के बाद that I had that confidence. After that I started adding. Main 365 में कुछ कंटेंट मिल रहा है और उसमें से हमें मुझे मिला कि पार्टिसिपेटिव गवर्नेंस के एग्जांपल्स क्या हैं या फिर सोशल ऑडिट के एग्जांपल्स क्या हैं. दैट आई स्टार्टेड टू ऐड. तो दैट इज हाउ आई मेड मेरा वन टॉपिक ऑफ सिविल सर्विसेज गॉट कंप्लीटेड. लाइक उसमें कमिटीज के नाम लिखे, अभी शॉर्टकमिंग्स क्या हैं वो उसने दे दिए. वाजीराम येलो बुक ने एक बेसिक कंटेंट दे दिया कि ये शॉर्टकमिंग्स हैं, ये इम्प्रूवमेंट के लिए है. बाद में जो और कोई करंट अफेयर्स सोर्स थे जहां से मुझे फैक्ट्स अच्छा मिला वो मैंने पिकअप करके इसमें ऐड कर दिया. So I'm not saying Vajiram ki yellow book dekho. Find out a source of governance that has covered all your sources, all your topics of the syllabus. Sunya, I think, is a good source. Uske notes utha lo, usme se dekh lo if it is covering or not.
As you mentioned, ma'am, I could resonate with you as I've already followed Vajiram's yellow book for governance.
Okay.
Although I found it very bulky because there are quite a number of content that they have added already.
Yes. वो काम के नहीं है वो सब कंटेंट. वो काम का उतना एक पेज का ही कंटेंट है.
So, ma'am, do you mean to say that we already have a structure like issues and challenges, way forward?
Yes.
यही हम इसी को फॉलो करते ही हमारे नोट्स बनाए, right? Is
yes,
that what
yes,
you mean?
yes, exactly. और जो उन्होंने दिया है वो जो फालतू कंटेंट दिया है, that you should leave it out now. Your note making is for that only.
All right, man, I got it. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Ma'am,
last question. Ma'am, how to revise the topic once we have completed that, and what will be your strategy once you have completed your topic during your preparation?
Like topic अगर कर लिया complete, then how to revise it? अब notes बन गए तो फिर तो revise करना आसान ही है ना. Notes बन जाएंगे एक बार तो first you have made those notes yourself, तो उसमें टाइम ज्यादा नहीं लगेगा रिवीजन करने में. ऑलमोस्ट सब कुछ याद ही रहता है. then it will not take much time. Plus when you are writing answers along with your notes, वो रिवीजन होता रहता है. You will not specifically find the need to revise your notes until unless you're going for an exam.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
मैम.
क्या तेजल?
मैम आपका ARC का अप्रोच क्या था? एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव रिफॉर्म कमीशन.
मैंने एग्जैक्टली पूरी ARC नहीं पढ़ी, पर जो भी मेन 665 में से रेफरेंस मिलती थी या किसी कहीं और से जो भी मैंने सोर्सेस फॉलो किए उसमें से रेफरेंस मिलती थी, आई यूज्ड टू ऐड देम इन माय नोट्स इटसेल्फ.
ओके मैम.
राइट?
यस मैम.
या अमल?
मैम एक्चुअली लाइक मार्केट में जैसे मैम फोरम IAS के टेस्ट सीरीज हमने पहले के ले लिए मैम. तो क्या होता है जैसे हमारे पास टॉपिक्स होते हैं तो कंटेंट बिल्डअप के लिए मैम रेफर कर सकते हैं पुराने टेस्ट सीरीज के जो क्वेश्चंस हैं और उसके जो भी
बिल्कुल
आंसर्स
करो
हैं मैम।
यार, बिल्कुल करो, जितना क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करोगे, पुराने करो नए करो, कौन सा क्वेश्चन एक्सपायर होता है यार। जो भी करंट अफेयर्स
या
होता है, अगर वो थोड़े टाइम के लिए हो जाता है तो फिर वो बेसिक बन जाता है, स्टैटिक बन जाता है।
तो मैम जो टेस्ट सीरीज है और मेंस के जो 365 है, दोनों के कंटेंट को कंपाइल करके हम अपना खुद का एक नोट्स तैयार कर सकते हैं ना मैम?
कर सकते हो, जितना एफर्ट डाल सकते हो। आई हैव टोल्ड यू द इजीएस्ट वे हाउ टू मेक योर बेसिक कंटेंट। उसके
मैम।
बाद एज मच एज यू कैन गो, डू यू वांट टू गो अहेड, यू कैन, यू नो।
ओके मैम, थैंक यू।
मैम कैन यू प्लीज शेयर योर बुक लिस्ट मैम?
बुक लिस्ट यार मेरी वही है जो सबको ही रिकमेंड करता है। एंड ये जो बेसिक बुक्स हैं दैट आई हैव शोन यू टुडे, पॉलिटी प्री वाली बुक्स ही मेरी मेंस वाली बुक्स हैं। आई एम नॉट कवर्ड कोई एक्स्ट्रा बुक मैंने उठा के उसको अपना इनकॉर्पोरेट नहीं किया है। टॉपिक्स लाइक गवर्नेंस एंड डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट में हम एक बार थोड़ा सा डिटेल में डिस्कस करेंगे, क्योंकि उसकी कोई कंपाइल्ड बुक्स नहीं है। तो विल टॉक अबाउट इट इन अ सेशन नेक्स्ट टाइम। उसको एनडीएमए वेबसाइट से कैसे पिक करना है और कैसे उसको देखना है, विल हैव अ सेशन अबाउट इट।
Okay ma'am.
Ma'am, how to address the prelims, especially after the change pattern in 2023?
यार पैटर्न तो चेंज, मतलब सिर्फ ऑप्शन पूछने का हुआ है, क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करने के पैटर्न में कोई चेंज नहीं आया है। दिमाग वैसा ही लगाना है, कंटेंट उतना ही आना चाहिए, समझ उतनी ही होनी चाहिए। तो अंडरस्टैंडिंग लेवल एक सर्टेन बन जाएगा ना, तो जैसा मर्जी पैटर्न आ जाए प्री क्लियर होता है। तो दैट मीन्स दैट बहुत ज्यादा प्रीलिम्स के पैटर्न चेंज होने से ना, जिनका पेपर निकल रहा है उस पर इम्पैक्ट नहीं आता है। I have a YouTube series about prelims mind activation. वो देख लेना यार, that might help you about this.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
मैम एथिक्स एंड एसे के लिए one more section please take me.
Okay यार, I'll plan about it. I'll plan about ethics and essay.
Okay ma'am, thank you.
मैम साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी है जैसे मैम टॉपिक, इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट एक्चुअली, जो हम शायद नहीं इतना महत्व नहीं देते मैम, क्योंकि प्रीलिम्स में मैम 12 से 15 क्वेश्चंस आ जाते हैं मैम, और ज्योग्राफी से भी लिंक होके आते हैं मैम। तो मैम जैसे टॉपिक्स है जैसे बायोटेक है मैम, नैनोटेक, रोबोटिक्स वगैरह जो भी टॉपिक्स हो गए मैम, तो क्या उसके लिए भी हम नोट मेकिंग खुद के कर सकते हैं मैम?
बिल्कुल करो यार, it will be very helpful. When I take the next session, उसमें हम will discuss about this.
एंड मैम जैसे जनरली मतलब जैसे हमें गाइड किया जाता है मैम कि जो करंट अफेयर्स के पीटी है उससे साइंस एंड टेक कवर करने के लिए, तो मैम जैसे मैंने टॉपिक्स बोली थी हम पहले से भी कर सकते हैं ना ये सारे टॉपिक्स
भी कर सकते हैं। करंट अफेयर्स जो कंपाइलेशन आता है ना, उसमें भी अलग से टॉपिक आता है नैनो टेक्नोलॉजी का, उससे भी कर सकते हो। दैट आल्सो कवर्स वेरी वेल।
ओके मैम, ओके मैम, थैंक यू।
ऑल राइट, लास्ट क्वेश्चन आई टेक फ्रॉम तेजल।
मैम इवैल्यूएशन नेसेसरी है मतलब टेस्ट सीरीज का? एक्चुअली मैं जीएस का तो
अच्छा रहता है अगर करवा लो इवैल्यूएट, तो समझ में आता है लाइक कि क्या गलतियां हो रही हैं, क्या अगर कुछ चेंज कर रहे हो तो क्या वो आपके मार्क्स को पॉजिटिवली इम्पैक्ट कर रहा है कि नहीं कर रहा है, या कोई वो नोटिस ही नहीं हो रहा है, जो आप बोल रहे हो वो दूसरे इवैल्यूएटर तक पहुंच भी रहा है कि नहीं पहुंच रहा है।
मैम एक्चुअली अभी मैंने जीएस का तो कर रही हूँ मैं टेस्ट सीरीज के हिसाब से, बट ऑप्शनल का मुझे लगता है कि मुझे और रिवीजन करना चाहिए टेस्ट सीरीज लिखने से पहले।
फिर वही यार, रिवीजन और टेस्ट राइटिंग साथ साथ चलते हैं, चाहे वो ऑप्शनल हो चाहे वो जो मर्जी हो। डर लगता है आई नो आंसर राइटिंग में, बट यू हैव टू डू इट पैरेलली। नहीं कर पाओगे, कभी परफेक्ट रिवीजन नहीं होगा, कभी परफेक्ट कंटेंट नहीं होगा, और आंसर कभी नहीं लिख पाओगे फिर।
ओके मैम, ओके
ठीक है, चलो गाइस, थैंक यू फॉर कमिंग। आई होप यू लर्न समथिंग टुडे, और यू इम्प्लीमेंट।
सेशन अवेलेबल होगा हमारे उस पर?
सॉरी,
ये सेशन अवेलेबल होगा रिकॉर्डिंग इसकी?
सॉरी आई डिडंट गेट यू।
Am I audible, ma'am?
Yeah, audible but clear नहीं है. Your voice is not clear.
I'm just asking this question will be available.
I'm not able to get you.
I'm saying whether the recorded session would be there available, ma'am.
Okay, एक बार यार just connect with the ConvertIAS team once. They'll be able to tell you about ये technical thing. I am not aware about it.